Welcome back to another Ergo Update video. It is December 12th, and the market is up. And by that, I mean Bitcoin's up, so nothing usual to report. Polkadot, we're seeing some big moves in Polkadot today, 6% on DOT, as well as Cardano, I believe, too, was at 6% at one point as well. But it's a sleeper coin. Cardano is sleeper. Is good tech, probably. It's just sleeper. Moving on. Litecoin's making some moves, but most importantly, how is Ergo doing in this time of good market? Ergo is up about 0.24%. We were hitting some steady gains yesterday, then dipped. Now we're kind of just, I don't know, we're passing for good. Still our best day was the 7th, and that's when we were at about $6.58. So it is what it is. But today, we're going to be talking about the smart contract world. So, in my opinion, I believe it's whiteboard. Yes. We're going to be talking about the smart contract world. It's just how it's changing, you know? So, here's what we're looking at, right? We've got Ergo, which is, not very well known, and it's trying to do a lot of things right? You've got ETH, or Ether, or Ethereum, whatever you want to call it. We're going to call it Ether, because that's what it was supposed to be called, if you didn't know that. We got DOT, you got KSM, you've got, a slew of other ones. There's just too many to name, right? So, you ask yourself all the time, it's like, which one's really going to end out on top, and which one's the best one for everyone, right? So, I think most people would argue that speed is the most important thing. So, like, Ergo, its speed would need to be, greater than ETH speed to be better than ETH. But I don't really think that speed's the important thing here. I think that the important thing is a combination of variables, really, as it should be, right? So we should be looking at the speed, or for better representation, we're going to call it TPS, which is transactions per second. And ETH is usually shamed for this because blockchains like Solana, or Sol, can handle, 50,000 TPS, and ETH handles what? I want to say the number was at least less than 1,000. So we'll just say 1,000 TPS. I think it's even lower than that, though. But you can see the difference here. So people think Solana is better simply because it's got faster transactions per second. There's also the fact that Solana is also POS, which, if you don't know, is proof of stake. And that's important too, I guess. People think that proof of stake is like the future in terms of just everything running efficiently. Ergo is kind of breaking the barriers there. So Ergo wants to be proof of work, but fast, right? So we'll just put fast up here. Proof of work, but fast. And this is not a bad thing. Actually, I think proof of work is probably better, because proof of stake really is only going to incentivize those who hold the coin, which is great until you've got a person that just keeps stacking up coins. Eventually, they're going to have to sell them to like an exchange or somewhere else to make some money and actually move them out, or to another vendor or store, or whatever you want to call it. But, this proof of work is just, people ignore it a lot, right? So, moving on. So we've got transactions per second, we've got security, which I believe is the other big important thing, and then we've just got like the network in general. So, like, what does it provide? So ETH has been known to be pretty secure, minus the fact that they had the whole Ethereum Classic thing. A bunch of people got a hold of, like a person got a hold of half the network, and they decided just to launch Ethereum. Personally, if you're speaking to me as a programmer and someone who's in the crypto space, I'm gonna go by the logic that code is law, which basically means once something like that was done, I think it should just be final. I think that changing the network in any way just because you made a mistake is almost as if you're failing in the economy, but the government's holding you up, right? So I think alone there should be, some structure to that. But that's a whole nother deal about ETH. Obviously, we have security, which is the other big important thing. So Ether right now, I would say, is pretty secure. Yeah. I don't know. ETH is weird. I don't like the way that they'll change the network to accommodate others when something bad will happen. It reminds me a lot of the government. And in terms of crypto, we hate the government, and we'd rather have the people be in charge of that. So maybe it's a governance thing, which is what it really is, and it comes down to. But I still think there should be some consensus with that. Moving on. We've got the network. So Solana is known to have crashed for a bit, the network entirely. The network crashing is a very, very bad sign, and I would consider this probably the most important thing, as well as what the network offers, such as NFTs, games, DeFi, decentralized finance, just a bunch of other stuff, right? So these are all going to be on the network, and it's all just going to be part. Ergo really only has the NFTs and maybe a DEX or so. So we're still pretty early, and we don't have any of these yet. But if you're looking for an NFT game on Ergo, feel free to check out the Ergo Goats NFT. This is just like an NFT line. I do have some, so I might be a little bit biased, but there's a Gen 1 drop coming soon, so you guys can get on that. It's not too expensive, significantly cheaper, and there's a ton of perks that come with it, as well as they have a steady roadmap. And yeah, so if you want to be part of some art on Ergo, this is a good chance to be part of. There's also Ergo Gnomes, a little bit more expensive, but so far I quite like the way this goes, because it'll be the first game on there and like the Ergo blockchain, which will be huge itself. So yeah, I think that'll be really, really cool. Moving on. So yeah, so who's going to win the smart contract race, I guess, is really what's to be said. You've got Ethereum, Solana, AVAX is DeFi, but you can still run some types of smart contracts. So really it comes down to, where everything is going to sit, right? So if ETH 2.0 ends up being total bust, I totally see Solana overthrowing ETH and ETH dropping a lot. I totally see Ergo picking up some of that traction a lot as well. As I described, if ETH succeeds and proof of stake goes alive, and that proof of stake consensus just doesn't seem to work very well for people, then I think Ergo really has a chance to do some big moves here. So there's that. Some upcoming cryptos that you could look at are Near. The Near protocol is doing some pretty interesting stuff. They're a layer 1, but they are kind of, good, I guess. It's hard to get behind their tokenomics, especially for how it's worked out. That's one of the reasons I actually like Ergo the best, is because a lot of the tokens went simply just to holders and just general people, rather than these whales. This fact that you get, early ecosystem, operate community, foundation endowment, small backers, like these are whales, right? And they're holding up the coin, and they got it at a super cheap price, and they're profiting off pretty much all of you. So I don't know if I agree with that a whole lot, but it is what it is, and it probably has a reason for putting more stuff in the network and whatnot. So we'll move on. I definitely could see some gains coming from Tezos, providing they get marketing. Marketing is huge for Tezos and Ergo, I think. Actually, Ergo getting a contract with Waves was actually a really, really good move, because Waves is sitting around number 70, and it's worth around $1.7 billion, as we had in an earlier video. I think Cardano really shouting out that they're partnering with Ergo would be great. Unfortunately, Cardano's a sleeper coin right now and just sits here and is not really doing much of anything. So there's that. But yeah, so that was today's market update. There's not a whole lot going on in the Ergo market. It's about holding at this point, right? And I think if we look at Bitcoin, I think we're not totally done with these spikes yet. I think we'll probably go right back up, and then we'll go right back down, right? Almost could see this as a double top, I guess, if you wanted to, but it's hard to tell. And I'm not just gonna put some lines on a graph and say, this is what it is. The truth is that Bitcoin is highly unpredictable, and I don't know. There seems to be a little bit of manipulation here, I think, as there always is. So I'd say overall we're doing pretty decent, but maybe we're forming, double and go up again. I don't know. I easily see, I think Bitcoin could top out around 67, I think is what they call it, the high. But I don't know about that. I personally think it should go to 75K. 100K is pushing it a little bit, but it's not totally impossible either. So there's that. Yeah, that's all that's on the market. Terra is kind of parked here. Polkadot, I think, is going to be huge in 2022. I said that, and I'll continue to say it. If you've put a lot into Ergo and you're wanting to, make some significant gains, I think Polkadot is a good place to be as well. I think Ergo will make gains too in 2022, just because of the ETH moving to proof of stake, but that's all subject to, what a lot of miners move their coins over and how much we can get out of the network. I imagine that people will mine it, and the difficulty rate is going to skyrocket, and we'll get supply shortages and etc. So it is what it is. Thanks for watching this video, and see you in the next Ergo update. Peace.